Have you ever wondered why you're still chasing their eyes? Why you're dying to be seen, dying to be heard, dying to be praised by people who never gave a damn about your silence? Why are you still crawling through broken glass just to be acknowledged by ghosts who laughed when you bled? You weren't invisible. They saw you, and they ignored you anyway. That should have been your awakening. But you still try to prove yourself, don't you? Prove, prove, prove. You try to prove you're not weak. Prove you're worthy. Prove you matter. But here's the truth you don't want to hear. Proving is begging in disguise. Begging for respect. Begging for validation. Begging for a seat at a table built by cowards. And you were never meant to beg. You were born to burn that table down. Now picture this. A cold, dark room. 4 walls, no windows, 1 cracked mirror. Flickering light swinging above your head like a noose. You're standing there, alone, staring into that mirror, trying to recognize yourself. Your eyes look hollow, your jaws clenched, blood's dried on your knuckles from the last time you punched the wall instead of screaming. And the silence? It's loud, it's violent, it's all-consuming. But it's honest, because in that moment you're not performing. You're not smiling for the crowd. You're not pretending to be fine. You're just real. No one to clap, no one to doubt, just you and the war inside your own head. That war, that's where the power is born. You've been taught that silence is weakness, that it means you're scared, passive, broken. But that's a lie. Silence isn't surrender. Silence is strategy. It's control. It's the calm before the storm you're about to unleash. Loud people crave attention. Silent people crave domination. And when you stop trying to explain, when you stop defending yourself, when you stop proving yourself, that's when the fear starts. Not your fear, theirs. Because silence is dangerous. Silence is unreadable. Silence makes them uncomfortable. They can't manipulate what they can't predict. They can't attack what they can't hear. And when you move in silence, you become something they can't touch. A ghost, a shadow, a storm they didn't see coming. Let them talk. Let them mock. Let them doubt. You're not here to impress. You're here to destroy. They laugh. Let them. While they're laughing, you're bleeding, building. Every insult they throw becomes a brick in the empire you raise alone. Every smirk becomes fuel for the fire they'll burn in later. You see, revenge isn't screaming back. It's not proving them wrong with words. Real revenge is becoming so unstoppable, they choke on their own silence when they see you rise. And they will. Oh, they will. But not yet, not now. Now is the time to disappear, not into weakness, but into work, into silence, into obsession. This is your exile, self-imposed, brutal, isolating, but necessary. You're not hiding, you're sharpening, like a blade in the dark. While they post, you grind. While they sleep, you bleed. While they talk, you transform. And when the time comes, you won't knock on the door. You'll tear the whole building down. This is where the pain becomes purpose. You think silence is easy. It's not. Silence is screaming inside your skull every night. Silence is holding back when you want to explode. Silence is sitting alone with every fear, every scar, every broken piece of your past, and refusing to let it define you. It's brutal, it's savage, but it's pure. Because in that silence, no one can lie to you. There's no noise, no applause, no filters, just truth. Raw, filthy truth. And that's where real power is born. You think you're powerless because you're quiet? Wrong. You're quiet because you're calculating, you're watching, you're learning, You're becoming. Silence isn't the absence of noise, it's the presence of discipline. And discipline wins wars. Let them think you've vanished. Let them assume you're done. They won't see the work, they won't see the fire, but one day they'll see the result, and it will haunt them. Because here's the savage truth. You don't owe them a single word, not an explanation, not a response, not even a glance. Your pain is not their entertainment. Your struggle is not a performance. You don't need to prove you're alive. You don't need to prove you're strong. You just need to become something they can never destroy. And that happens in the silence. So go silent, go dark, go deep, burn every distraction, kill every weakness, forget applause, forget eyes, forget them, build in silence, rise in silence, conquer in silence. You don't need to scream to be heard. You don't need to shout to make an impact. Power doesn't beg. Power doesn't prove. Power just is. Now, look at your reflection. What do you see? A victim or a weapon? Because you've been broken. You've been laughed at, ignored, disrespected, abandoned. And still, you breathe. Still, you rise. That should terrify them. Because if you can survive everything they threw at you in silence, then what happens when you finally decide to strike? What happens when you stop proving and start dominating? So what happens when the quiet one stops watching and starts moving? When the shadow becomes the storm? When the man who needed no applause, no validation, no crowd finally rises? That's when fear shifts. That's when power flips. That's when those who laughed choke. And it starts now. This is your hour of reckoning, not with them, but with yourself. Look again, deeper. That reflection, it's not weak, it's not fragile, it's not broken, it's just unfinished. And you know why it's still unfinished? Because you were too busy proving yourself to people who were never listening. You gave away your power, drip by drip, every time you explained yourself, every time you hoped they'd believe in you, every time you lowered your voice so theirs could echo louder. Enough of that. You're not a show. You're not a quote on someone's feed. You're a weapon, and it's time to load the chamber. This world doesn't reward the loud, it rewards the ruthless, the focused, the silent killers who move through the darkness with blood in their eyes and no need for applause in their ears. You want revenge? Then don't tell them. Don't show them. Just become so damn untouchable they never see it coming. Let your scars be the blueprints. Let your pain write the plans. And let your silence build the empire, because here's the truth you've been avoiding. You don't want their approval. You want power. And power doesn't knock. Power doesn't ask. Power takes. So take it. Take every insult, every laugh, every ounce of disrespect, and bury it under hours of brutal, thankless, invisible work. Let your isolation become your kingdom. Let your loneliness become your training ground. You want to be unstoppable? Then stop needing attention, needing validation, needing recognition. The most dangerous man in the room is the one who needs nothing and takes everything. They thought you'd fold. They thought you'd break. But silence isn't breaking. Silence is patience. And patience? That's what monsters are made of. You sit alone at 3 a.m. Good. That's when the real ones build. That's when the noise dies and the truth speaks. That's when you stare at your demons and don't flinch. Everyone wants power, but no one wants the silence it takes to earn it. So here's the test. Can you be silent long enough to become the version of yourself that doesn't need them anymore? Because that's the version that wins. The version that doesn't care who's watching. The version that doesn't check the mirror for applause. The version that doesn't explain why he's cold, why he's distant, why he's changed. You changed because you had to. You hardened because the world handed you knives, not comfort. And you learned to bleed in silence, not to make them feel bad, but to make yourself stronger. Let them talk, let them misjudge you, underestimate you, laugh at your silence. They'll write you off until you show up with fire in your lungs and death in your stare, until your silence becomes a roar they can't drown out, until you walk through the room and suddenly no one's laughing anymore, because nothing is louder than a man who doesn't speak but moves like a storm is coming. That's how you conquer. You conquer by becoming the ghost they can't catch, the name they whisper but never see coming, the story they tell in hushed voices, not because you screamed, not because you proved, but because you moved in silence and struck like hell. You're not soft, you're not emotional, you're a beast who learned to control the noise. And control? That's the real flex. Not followers, not likes, not claps. Control of your time, control of your emotions, control of your focus, control of your rage. Because rage without control is chaos. But rage with silence, that's power, that's nuclear. That's what makes kings out of broken boys. So stop explaining, stop proving, stop apologizing for your silence. You are not here to be understood. You are not here to be accepted. You are here to take over. Quietly, ruthlessly, completely. Let them call you cold. Good. Ice cuts deeper than fire. Let them say you've changed. Good. That means you're evolving. Let them say you're different. You conquer by becoming the ghost they can't catch, the name they whisper but never see coming, the story they tell in hushed voices, not because you screamed, not because you proved, but because you moved in silence and struck like hell. You're not soft, you're not emotional, you're a beast who learned to control the noise. And control, that's the real flex. Not followers, not likes, not claps. Control of your time, control of your emotions, control of your focus, control of your rage. Because rage without control is chaos. But rage with silence, that's power, that's nuclear. That's what makes kings out of broken boys. So stop explaining. Stop proving. Stop apologizing for your silence. You are not here to be understood. You are not here to be accepted. You are here to take over. Quietly, ruthlessly, completely. Let them call you cold. Good. Ice cuts deeper than fire. Let them say you've changed. Good. That means you're evolving. Let them say you're different. You should be. That's the point. You're not here to stay the same. You're not here to be liked. You're here to win. And the ones who win, they walk alone. They bleed alone. They grow in silence, in isolation, in rejection. They don't ask for support. They build without it. They don't beg for love. They create without it. They don't seek recognition. They rise without it. You don't need them.